Okay, I'm going to do a quick video on this removal of the 38-inch stroke on the piston for my dinette slide on my 2021 Keystone Alpine 3712 KB. I've already removed the Coroplast. I've cut it halfway back, similar to what somebody else did in their video. So I ended up needing to get an impact. I had a friend that had one of these Harbor Freight impacts. That is in fact 1 1/8" on that one there. The gun barely fit, but it fit. And I was able to get that off of there. No problem with an impact. The problem with using a wrench or anything like that is when you pull on this, when you grab the wrench and you pull down on this, it's twisting the frame that the guide tracks for the slide. So I didn't want to do that. So just a little bit of persuasion there with an impact did it. Now that I know I'm able to get this off, now I'm going to take my hoses off, and it'll require taking all three. With a 9/16 wrench, go ahead and take off your hose. You're going to get a little bit of leakage there, but not much. Probably install this or get this hose wrapped up somewhere high so it's not going to sit there and leak everywhere. Just stuff it up in somewhere. Okay, I've got the piston all disconnected from hoses and back here. I'm not sure again why they did this, but I'm going to leave it and try to sneak it by. And if you spin the piston, you can leave that fitting on there. It barely fits by. I'll take that off when I get out somewhere where I can work on it. Okay, I've got the new and the old. I'm going to take out the plug on the new one and replace these fittings. It is the same. Matched them up. Exact same. So now that the fittings are changed out, the next thing you might want to consider is when you take these nuts off is to put them in the exact same spot as this one here. You can do that one of two ways. Just count the threads or just match them up and eyeball it. But I'll probably go ahead and count the threads after I get it on here. All right, so here it is, all finished up. Get myself the access panel like most have done. Certainly could have pulled it all off and folded it back, but I think this will work pretty good. One thing I did find out is right here underneath where there's no insulation, unfortunately, it kind of bothers me a little bit. That is where the sink is at. So the nice part about this is I can access the other one too, and I probably would just have to reach in there to grab the other side off if I want to take that side off. I probably wouldn't cut the rest of it all the way back. Another thing I did was I kind of reorganized these cables to not put any kind of stress on these, any kind of angle on them, just having them laying there flat and less tangled. Tied everything up, tied some things up here, not too tight, but just, you know, loose off the bottom there, away from all the steel. There was some chafing in some spots that were chafing on the steel, wearing away the cable, the hose, so I could see that being a problem. But everything went back together pretty good. One thing that I noted was, if you look close, this cylinder here is really close to the bottom, whereas that one is not in the extend position. And I saw that if you look down the edge of this, it's kind of warped up a little bit. So I'm wondering if that's causing some pressure on my seal, causing it to fail. I tried bending it up, couldn't get to it. So I'm in a pinch for time going over the road. So I may end up coming in here, heating that bracket up and bending it. So that way that is not putting a lot of pressure on that, because I had to push it up into place. So something to look for if you do this. But like others have said, you know, make sure when you go to put this back into place that you clean these surfaces really well. I, again, cut right on a stud or a piece of strapping so I can put a screw in each piece. I will tape it. And over here, it's steel, but I can put a screw in each one there as well, probably. So, yep, there it is, and not too hard. As long as you have all the right tools, you should be able to get it done in an afternoon. So I had some extra styrofoam foil face board I cut and put up in there. I ended up having to do it in 2 pieces, but it's a half inch thick, and it doesn't cover all the way back in there, but there's some insulation there. So I was able to grab some of that. Actually, I'll probably, now I got the camera up in there, might be able to get a little bit more of that in there. But when I found this stuff, I pulled that tight. I staple that up into place there. Some extra stuff here. I could feel a lot of cold air coming in from where underneath the sink. So I was losing AC through there. So all those little things make a big difference down the road. And we actually managed to keep our RV really cold. So through the extra insulation I've done everywhere. And of course this stuff I'm sure helps. This Reflectex down here, it's not really the greatest thickness, is better out there, but I'm sure it works. So this is what I used instead of the Gorilla Tape, only because the Gorilla Tape wasn't available, but I believe this might be better. This stuff's basically similar to the Eternabond tape, but it's used for all kinds of stuff, as you can see here, and once it's stuck on, it is on. It's not going anywhere. So right now this is on the seam where this is the seam where the piece of wood is. So center of the piece of wood is right here. So I'm gonna put 1 screw there and 1 screw there, and this is just basically gonna waterproof that seam. And I believe the fact that it's that Eternabond type tape, that's gonna do exactly what I want. Keep the water out and probably hold it together for some reason if the screws don't hold, but I doubt that will be the problem. So I didn't end up screwing on each side of the stud. I think just right in the middle was fine. This tape is grabbing everything. So it's gonna hold it up fine. I used some big fender washers versus the other smaller ones they had. And I got 2 right there and 2 over there. I think that's gonna be just fine.